I'm at LA Fitness this morning, doing my normal routine. And, I come out the locker room and I time it so that right at about 7 o'clock on the dot, I get on the elliptical machine. I got the 12-pound medicine ball and I get on the elliptical machine. And the reason why I get at 7 o'clock usually is because that's when Sports Center starts up. And even though I watch it in the morning a little bit when I stretch, I still want to, it helps me gets me going, especially a Heat game. They usually show the highlights in the beginning of the show. So now, obviously this morning, the first 10 or 15 minutes was all about the Heat and the streak and how they lost and stuff. And honestly, it was firing me up, because today was my shoulder day. I do shoulders on Thursday. And, those are tough exercises I do for that. So, I'm watching I'm watching Sports Center, and I'm looking back at LeBron getting flagrant fouled and getting thrown down by Heinrich and what's his name, Taj Gibson, and he's just getting hacked all over the place, because I'm still mad about that. And then Chris Bosh got fouled by Heinrich. They didn't call it. Then they called something on Shane Battier. You heard my video. I didn't like it. So I'm watching it, the streak ended. And it almost felt like the NBA referees. And I know what people are going to say, oh, LeBron and Wade, they get calls. Listen, okay? I'm not saying people should get special treatment and all that, but that's just how the NBA goes. When you're a superstar player, I don't care who you are, you get special treatment. And the last time I checked, the Bulls don't have any superstars on that team right now. Derrick Rose and Joakim Noah, and I know he's not Rip Hamilton's not a superstar, but they were out and they still won. But they played hard. I give it to them. The Bulls play hard, and I'm not saying nothing about the Bulls' effort and stuff like that, because they beat them and stuff, but I just didn't like how it went down. But, so I'm on elliptical doing my thing. And then I got off and I was a little fired up because I take my my pre-workout right before I get on the elliptical. So it takes about 10, 15, 20 minutes to kick in. So I go to do my stretching, then I do my shoulder exercises. And after I do that, I do 30 more minutes on the elliptical again. And then I go do my training, my basketball training in the gym. Now, the last I say about 3 weeks, it's only one full court at LA Fitness. It's just one full court. And normally I have it to myself, but sometimes every once in a while you have some stragglers come in. Well, there was these two guys that came in, and I know their names now. One name is Mike, and one name is Dan. And they would play one-on-one. Now, these guys are in their 20s. They're decent players, but they're not basketball players. But they're decent. They just do it for fun, and they play one-on-one. Now, Dan is better than Mike. Dan, he just beats him one-on-one, and he's just killing them. And Dan's a decent player. Mike, on the other hand, he needs some work. So, when I be down there doing my drills and stuff, they be just over there playing one-on-one. So one day, like 3 weeks ago, there was this guy training for basketball. He had took up one court, and then I was on the other one. And right at the end of my workout, Mike and Dan came in. And, they wanted to play one-on-one. And they're like, hey, can we play? I was like, yeah. So I started watching them play and stuff. So I asked them, I said, hey, you mind if I join you? We'll play some 21. Now, some of you guys know what the game 21 is, and some of you don't. Some people call it, 42. Some people call it whatever. Basically, it's the game where you play every man for yourself, and when you score, you get, 3 free throws if you make them all, and the first one to 21 points wins. That's what 21 is. And it was a pretty cool game. Now, mind you, these guys came in like cold, and they weren't warmed up like I was. So I beat them pretty handily. I beat them. I think it was 3 or 4 games we played, and I won. By a big margin that day. So the next day they came in earlier, while I was in the middle of my workout, and I was like, wow. And they said, hey man, we want to play again, especially Dan, because Dan didn't like losing because he's always beating Mike. So we played again, and it was the same result. I think we played like 6 games that time, and I beat him. All 6 games. It was 3 people one-on-one, every man for themselves. And then, after that, every 2 or 3 days I'd see them. Not every day of the week over the last 3 weeks, but a good 3 times a week they would come in there, and it'd be the same result. 4 or 5 games, I'd win them all. So this morning, I was a little tired and stuff, and we were playing. And in the third game, because a lot of times I get down early, and I don't have a sense of urgency in the beginning, kind of like the Heat. And Dan, he was just determined. He was not going to lose this game. He was, he had a game plan for me. Basically, when Mike had the ball at the three-point line, or whenever he had the ball, he wouldn't guard Mike. He would just make sure I wasn't getting any rebounds. He wouldn't even guard Mike. It's almost like he was blocking me out. Even if I tried to go over there to guard Mike, he wouldn't let me because I'd either steal it from Mike or block it and get the ball. So Dan was like, no, I'm not going to let you get it. Because, the key to 21 to me is obviously scoring a basket, but then hitting those 3 free throws. That's the key. Because every time I score, I usually, I'm about 90% in the game of 21 as far as, free throws. So Dan had his little game plan, and I noticed that I was down. And I was down 18. I only had like 7 or something like that. So he went to the free throw line, and he missed the free throw for 19. And then I got the rebound, and I scored a bunch of points in a row. And I think it was 18-18. So Mike has the ball, and me and Dan both have 18. And we play three-pointers, too, at the three-point line. If you hit a 3, it counts for 3. So the rebound went long, and Dan chased it down. As soon as he got it, he didn't even hardly even set up for the shot. He just turned and shot a 3. I was like, what the hell is he? And the shit went in. Oh, man, you talking about sad. He was celebrating like that boy won the championship. And he's like, yeah, finally. And he was like, the Heat lost and you lost. Like, and I ain't no, I'm a pretty competitive person, and I'm not a happy loser. I'm a sore loser. And, he went to shake my hand, and I kind of like halfway took it out and stuff and slapped him up. And then the next 2 games I won or whatever. But my streak got snapped today. I lost. And the reason why I lost because I had a slow start. And that's what I want to talk to y'all about the Heat. I know I said the Heat's going to win the championship and stuff like that, and that's probably true. But the Heat got to shore up some stuff. First of all, they got to stop complaining about the referees. Okay, they got to stop doing that, and they got to play ball. They got to stop looking at the referees every time they miss a shot or something happens. That's first. Second of all, they got to be more aggressive. Now, obviously, they're a great defensive team, and they're just a great team up and down, but they got to be more aggressive. Another thing, they got to start with these slow starts, man. It's all about effort. The reason why the Bulls won is not because they're a better team. It's because they play with more effort, more sense of urgency. And this is why I say life and the game of basketball is 90% mental. The Bulls have no business beating the Heat. Now, of course, anybody can beat anybody on a given night because, it's the NBA. They're pro players. But at the end of the day, the Heat wanted to win that game. I mean, period. They wanted to win that as bad as they wanted to win the championship, I think. They won't admit that, but you could tell at the end of the game how hard they were playing. Because a normal regular season game, you just don't go hard like that in the fourth quarter. I'm not saying you don't go hard, but the sense of urgency, you knew something was on the line. And they wanted to beat that streak. They wanted to beat it, and they didn't. And the reason why is they didn't make up for it in the beginning. Same with me. When I was down 18-7, the first thing I was thinking about when I was making my comeback and I tied it 18-18, I was like, man, if I would have just had 12 instead of 7, I would have won the game. But I kept messing around, and, he was scoring and hitting his free throws and stuff like that. And I just didn't, come up big in the beginning like the Heat need to do. The Heat need to stop starting so slow and stuff like that. And I'm seeing people on YouTube right now, some haters, boy. They just, I ain't going to say nobody's name, but, man, people just getting mad at me about LeBron winning and what I'm saying about LeBron. And, LeBron won 27 games in a row and somebody's still going off on him. But I ain't going to say no name because you expect that from certain people. But, like I said, man, the Heat are definitely favored to win the championship. And in your life, for you guys, and especially when it comes to school or work or setting goals, don't be a procrastinator, man. Because Mr. Procrastinator, he can come back and bite you in the butt. He can. And if you got a deadline to do, don't wait till the last minute to do it like the Heat does. Because if they didn't do that and they would have played with a sense of urgency in the beginning, they would have won the game. So whatever your game is, whether it's a goal, a deadline, or something that you got to do, just try to get it done early. Have a sense of urgency like, hey, this is due tomorrow and not next week. All right, so let me know what you guys think about the Heat streak and my streak and your streak or whatever you got going on, and let me know what you guys think about what's going on in the NBA today. All right? Thanks, guys. Take care of yourselves. I'll talk to you soon. And don't forget, if you can believe it, you can do it. Thanks for watching. You guys know I appreciate it. And remember, folks, always, always treat people how you want to be treated, and everything will be okay. This is NBA Jerry, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.